Just would like to remind you this is the music scene and nothing starts on time. Yeah, don't be surprised. Oh, we have a couple more of the bad men walking up the stairs right now, coming to join. What's going on, fellas? Good to see you. Hi. Let it out real quick. Who is it? Johnny Neutron? Is he the one that has it? Is Matt down? No. Oh, word. Uh-huh. We are? Yeah. I only see two of us. Am I? How much is the delay? Like 8 seconds. Cool. Hey, we're live on Souls in Action stream. I am with the boys from Keepers and also Need in the Sea. We will be joined by Option4 here shortly. Traffic has kind of crippled us a little bit, but we'll get the party rolling. Let's start with asking the Keepers guys some questions, and we know the Dankles want to know how the two of you guys got your start in Denver.
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and take the mic. I guess we were just both kind of got our start. We involved, I guess, directly with the 100, and we were both sort of just showed a just strong interest in in-house music, and we got involved with the 100 and Brennan. And we kind of met just through the. We both just started getting our feet wet in the DJing world, and slowly but surely, we just kind of realized we were both kindred spirits in that sense, and we decided that we should sing together. So from there, we just we started. Keepers was born. We started playing some shows we got through Brennan or Option4. He's really helped a lot, kind of springboarded our careers here in Denver as far as concerned. So we just started playing shows together, and we've just been really blessed to have a lot of great opportunities and have some great looks. And then we've been spending a little bit more time video producing music together. We're both a little newer to that, so it's more of a time-consuming process for us. But a few tracks in the works right now, hoping to have a few out here before the end of April via our Night Supply imprint. So that's kind of the backstory to that.
Well, you mentioned Night Supply, and you also mentioned the 100. What was it that made you guys think that the 100 would work in Denver the way it has? And in the last year, it has absolutely exploded. You have some of the best house DJs that you can, you name them, we've had them. What was it that made you guys think, hey, Denver, we can make this happen. We can make this pop?
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and speak for Brennan on this one. He started it just as kind of the whole concept behind it initially was to just start a party that kind of revolves around a group of 100 like-minded individuals who are truly behind and passionate about house music. So he just thought that there was nothing like that had ever really been done before, and he thought that Denver was a great market for that. And I think our first few people that he discussed the concept with, and that the scene here is still quite pliable and moldable. There's still a lot that can be done here as far as that's concerned, and especially at that time, 2.5 when it started. So basically, it was just it was a shot in the dark. We didn't really know how well it would work or if it would work. And the concept just really took off. Everybody who's directly involved with it, as far as the people that we bring in every year to be a part of it, I love the family aspect of it. And then we're just all and are all just really behind the movement of pushing the house music scene here in Denver. So yeah, it was a shot in the dark, but it just really just sort of took hold, and with everybody behind it and kind of pushing the parties, it's just gone a monthly party. Now we have 2 residencies at 2 of the bigger clubs here in Denver and Vinyl, and then we do one-offs here and there from there. So it just really took off. No, I mean, it just I guess we're just really lucky and just really happy to be a part of it at this point.
Awesome. As you mentioned, your new residencies. What's it like playing on those Function Ones over there at Vinyl? Because I've been listening once for a minute. I've never been able to play on them, but I would love to know, like to get behind the decks when you're playing on those Function Ones.
Well, it's really loud. It's really loud. By the way, we want to this is Matthew Bloss, aka Matty Knight. He's Night Supply manager, also the key players here with us as far as the 100's concerned. So welcome Matty Knight to the party. Runs the show at Night Supply. Also does a lot of work behind the scenes at the 100 as well, as far as the party. Also plays in Action 52. So anyway, we've all played on it, and I think we can all say it's amazing. It's really loud. It's almost too loud sometimes, to be honest, and I think we're probably starting to go deaf, so we need to get earplugs. But it's amazing. It's really awesome to be kind of the reimagining, or the of Vinyl. I know that place kind of it just sort of fell off the map with Beta being in there, but it's kind of nice to be able to push and kind of back in the spotlight with what we're doing there, and try to get them back in the mix. So we're happy to be a part of that as well. Right, guys?
Oh, yes.
Yes, Colin.
Sweet.
Well, we're here for Snowball, which is this weekend, 2 days away. There are some amazing artists on it, and we've been talking about house music, and I'd say the half of this lineup is incredible. I mean, it's pretty much what you guys have been bringing Denver in the last year anyway, and maybe even better, Who are you guys most excited to see on that lineup?
We'll start here.
I have a little bit of a bias, seeing as Night Supply, record label, which has grown out of the parties and the 100. We have artists on, so I'm excited. Friday we have Option4. Sunday gonna have Keepers, Need a Necessity, and Sam Warren, another good friend of ours, all back to back for 3 hours. So those are my 4 picks easily.
Yeah, I would definitely say Option4 on Friday is going to be incredible. Just so excited to see the homies get to play. Keepers and Sam Warren will be incredible. Also really looking forward to Rufus Du Sol. Just saw them down in Miami, and they absolutely blew my mind. Put on super great show. And then the usual suspects that kind of follow our crew in the Heat Hut, Mr. Taxi Sound System and Juan McClain. So, yeah, it's going to be a great weekend of music, and really looking forward to it.
And I am definitely really obviously for Option4. Definitely MK, Justin J. As far as the bands go, Jaguar Mob, huge fan. Really excited to see those guys, and Rufus Du Sol as well. Twin Shadow. I mean, the list goes on as far as the bands go, but the Heat Hut's where it's at. All the house music that's taken there. It's it's the movement we've been pushing here in Denver for a long time. So it's really cool to see Snowball and booking those artists. And it's really happy just to be a part and be involved in the lineup as well. Yeah.
Here's another question for the Keepers. As it stands, we've seen a lot of mixes put forth from you guys. Can we look to see more production from you coming down the pipes in 14?
Absolutely. We're working hard in the studio right now, kind of getting our chops. Like I said, we've got a couple productions in the works as we speak. So we're definitely looking to get more original music out as soon as possible. Like I said, our goal is to have a release out by the end of the month on our Night Supply imprint. So absolutely, you should see a lot from us as we really want to get more involved in that side of the spectrum as well. So it's really good, actually.
Just wanted to elaborate on that. They were on the very first Night Supply EP, Volume 1, Night by Night, and you can check that out on our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Night Supply. Super.
So we can expect a lot from just Night Supply in general in the next half a year and even further.
Absolutely. We've got a lot. We've actually got a new general, our young Leon, added to the roster. He's only 18. He's like a production prodigy. He calls himself Silent Effects. I mean, he's blowing our minds right now. In fact, he's got a new tune that's kind of at the helm right now. It's coming out early next week, and it's blowing our minds. We've all been playing it out, and we love it. So he's a new addition to the roster. So keep your eye on him as well. Need Necessity, they're always in the studio. I think Ross can speak for that. What do you guys have planned?
I got a lot in for the next couple months. Been putting together a couple EPs, one of which is for sure going to be on Night High, and the other one we're kind of just seeing where it goes. A couple of the tracks have just been really sounding good out in the club, so we're getting very excited to show the world. They haven't really been heard besides when we play them live and the crew here. So really looking forward to that, and just yeah, we have a remix coming out, a homie back in Boston that's going to be on a label called Strangers in Paradise. So looking forward to that. But other than that, just been focusing on the Night Supply and really kind of honing in on what we got going on here, because it's the next couple of months are going to be us. So.
Who is the artist you guys are excited to be bringing in the next couple months? I personally am a fan of the Mark Brothers, and I can't believe they're coming here, and they're playing at Vinyl. That's huge, that's unbelievable. So I'd kind of know who you guys are most excited to be bringing in.
Well, we can't speak on what we have in the works for the summer as far as the parties are concerned, but we've got some absolutely ridiculously huge things coming at you in the summer. I personally am super stoked for Martinez Brothers. That's going to be probably one of the biggest shows that we've ever done, I would say. And then yeah, we can't really drop anything else as far as what we're doing yet. What about, you got something to say, Maddie?
No, I was just going to say, I think we're all pretty on board the Martinez Brothers. It's going to be a gigantic show.
Option4 is here, finally.
Yeah, but no, in terms of the shows that announced, I would say Martinez Brothers, excuse me, is going to be absolutely.
What kind of set are you guys expecting to play at Snowball? There's different elements and different house sounds and different everything. I guess what kind of set can the people that are coming to Snow expect from you guys?
Well, I can honestly say that it's gonna be a crowd pleasing set, but I mean, I think there's always a balance that you have to strike when playing a crowd, especially a crowd like Snowball is kind of diverse. I mean, people are coming to see all kinds of music, and there's all kinds of music. So we definitely want to kind of strike that balance of pleasing the crowd, playing tunes that are a little bit more recognizable and that have that bounce to them, but also pleasing ourselves and playing some of the more prop that we're really into right now. So definitely striking that balance, but it's definitely going to be real fun, upbeat. Definitely going to look to keep the crowd involved for sure.
Yeah, I'm right along with that. I would say that, I don't want to give away too much. I really encourage people to come to the set and kind of check out what the whole crew has got going on. But yeah, honestly, we're just going to really feed to the crowd and really turn it upbeat and bring it. Keep it jacking.
Do you guys have any other festivals or anywhere that you guys are going to be traveling in the next over the summer? Do you have any plans for festivals?
Well, I think one of the other half of Need Necessity. Well, a bunch of us are first of all going to Movement, so we're trying something out there at least for keepers and Need Necessity, maybe to jump on a show right there for sure. So we don't have. That's about all we have planned so far. So. If you're out of town and you want to book us, we're down, like seriously down for sure. Oh my God, here's Option4. He's here finally. Hey, welcome.
Yo, how's it going?
You know, rock stars usually don't show up on time. They like to roll in a little fashionably late, looking like ballers, wearing their long chains, their glasses on. It's good to see you.
Thanks.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm still waiting for my ride that never came. Just kidding about that. It was actually my fault. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we have a couple questions we want to ask you. We have questions from fans, and we have a couple questions from EDM Network and the Dankles.
Awesome.
Yeah, you ready to get started? We've already asked the boys some questions. They've already been answering a bunch of questions about everything. All right. Well, let's start with a question. The EDM.com guys.
All right, let's do it.
All right, cool. You grew up following you grew a big following in Denver through your residency at Lip Gloss. Now you'd be playing at a massive music festival at Mile High Stadium. How does it feel to make that jump?
Man, you know, when you put it like that does seem like a massive guess. But there's been a lot of work that happened in between there that kind of hit like maybe more of a natural progression. It's an awesome opportunity to play a huge festival. It's always fun, and it's even more fun when you get to play in front of your hometown. That's like a lot of hometown love here, a lot of friends and homies, and everybody has been supporting this movement for a while now. But I would say it kind of grew slowly. It wasn't, you know, I had a residency at Lip Gloss, and now I'm on, you know, a big stage in front of thousands of people. There's been a big progression that's come naturally, and a lot of it, more than anything, has probably come just from maybe more of the production side. When you actually put out content, people can kind of relate to it, and they can, you know, they can listen there at work or at their car or whatever. That gains a lot more traction than just, man, I was in with a bunch of beers and a bunch of girls and had a great night last night. That guy played a killer set. People don't really use much when it comes to that. So it's kind of like it's been a you know, awesome, but it wasn't something that happened overnight.
You talk about content, and in the EDM scene, content is very important for the reason that there's so many people joining the DJ scene now, and people are pumping out music every day, and if you're not staying relevant and pumping out music, you could lose, and you could easily take that tumble very quickly. So you mentioned putting quality content all the time, which you keep doing. How do you find the time with supply and with the 100 and with touring and everything? How do you find to keep putting out content?
Man, it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Sorry, my Twitter's going. I'm gonna try to get to all these. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Like it's a lot of work every day. A lot of work. You know, when I'm not playing shows, or when I'm not promoting shows, booking shows, or I'm not, you know, hustling tickets, I am in the studio every day. I mean, I complain about it all the time, but like, being a DJ is a lot less glamorous than people might think. When people think of like a big DJ, you think of, I don't know, whatever, you know, you think of like all these huge names that are playing the festival. You think of Knife Party, you think of Pretty Lights. You know, Pretty Lights, I mean, if you were to sit down right here, he'd be like, well, man, he probably spends 50 hours a week just in front of a computer screen. It's like not much different from sitting in a cubicle. It's just he's trying to listen to a kick drum for 8 in a row, and somebody else is, you know, doing different kinds of work. So it's like, you know, it's a never-ending hustle and grind. If you have to stay relevant nowadays with just so many people putting out content, so many outlets. The internet's changed everything. It's not like, man, you don't get on a good label, you got no chance of music heard. Now you can put out a song, and if it's really good, it will go viral because the internet has ability. So you have to try and always, you know, you don't want to release too much where it's special when you make a song, but at the same time, you don't want to go a long time without making, because people will, you know, they'll care less about your product. I guess it's more of a balance that you got to try and find, and every artist is different. Like, you look at Duke Dumont, he can make one hit 6 months, but everything he makes in the past year and a half is a #1 hit. you know, and he can stay relevant, make one record and tour the world, then make another record and tour the world, you know, and when you get to that level, you know, that's really, really impressive. It's scary when you have a number one. It's really scary. How do you follow number one? And so, you know, he might spend 3 months on one track, but he makes sure that that next track, number one, because it's that high quality. So every artist is different. You know, I think the content is very, very important to keep, and it's obviously something nowadays where, since there's so much available content out there, you have to stay in people's minds and faces. And so you can do that by constantly touring, or yet by constantly making records. And so if you're small like me, you have to constantly make records.
Not going to be too small too much longer. You're kind of in the process of making big moves right now. Well, this next question comes from a fan, and they want to know why you chose 4, not option 3, not option 5.
Oh man, that's a really dorky story. You know, nobody is comfortable. I don't think anybody is comfortable with their name at all. Period. Like nobody likes to. Like, I guarantee you, unless their name, nobody likes to go around saying, "Hi, I'm, you know, DJ Quattro Megatron." Nobody likes, you know, whatever. So my story came from when I was a little kid. I had a real, like, friend that was going through a real tough relationship at the time, and I can't remember exactly what all of them were. All I know is the 4th option was he was gonna break up with that chick, and we were gonna party forever. And that was to me at like 18, my best friend telling me that. I'm like, that's a great idea. I'm option 4 too. We're just gonna party forever. And that's kind of like the MO. And like, it didn't work out. Like 3 days later, he was engaged and he moved. So I never saw him again, hardly for anything. So yeah, that's where it came from. So when I was little, I thought that name, and that just kind of stuck ever since. So I've always been option 4.
Cool. Glad we asked you that question. All right. This one comes from DJ Zippy Share, and they want to know what your favorite Pokemon is.
Ooh, man, this is gonna show my age. I
can actually answer that.
No, it's gonna show my age. I don't know how. I wasn't real familiar. Wasn't real familiar with Pokemon. Wasn't real familiar per se. But I think Pikachu was a Pokemon. Oh yeah. And I played the crap out of Smash Brothers, so I have to go with that guy. He was baller.
All right,
Little
cool.
electricity thing going everywhere.
Option 4's favorite Pokemon is Pikachu.
That's the only one I know.
All right, this one comes from EDM.com. What do you think of Deep House growing popularity states?
Man, it's awesome. It's a beautiful thing to see. Like, house music. I mean, we've been throwing these shows and we've been playing this music for years, so it's kind of interesting to see it become more popular and more accessible. That's awesome. I'm real excited to see what people's making now. Like, there's so much stuff that's evolved. Like when dubstep got really big, then all these kids that were like, no, we're sick of the wobble. We want to make trap music because Flostradamus makes this dope record that comes out of nowhere and it's amazing, you know. And then from that came this like post-flume music. I don't even know if post-flume is even a genre, but you look at all beautiful music that's in different tempos and stuff, and so I'm real excited to kind of see like what kids and what people are going to start creating when Deep House becomes like a fad, or when Deep House becomes a, you know, the genre is already kind of burnt in a lot of ways. Everybody says they're Deep House now, and it's not anywhere near what Deep House, to me, when I think of Deep House, actually is. Like, I don't really make Deep House per se. I don't make anymore, but I know it's not like, I wouldn't sit very comfortably next to Derek Carter or Keverson and say, man, I make Deep House. They would look at me like a chump. And so I don't even try, you know, I would never say that. And so, like, I guess more than anything, I think it's really cool that it's more accessible. I like how people's minds are kind of opening up to maybe more of a groovier sound that's not necessarily aggressive. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that bros hate it. I love that fact. I love that you can go to like a real proper house show and, you know, you don't have dudes with their shirts off and, you know, spray everywhere, body paint everywhere, you know. Yeah, like you don't have ultra. Like I love that you don't have, you know, that's amazing to me, like just in the product in general. So it kind of attracts a different crowd, and that's cool to see, you know, girls be able to come to a club and feel comfortable dancing, you know, you guys that are really into the music that are, you know, not, I don't know how to put it, would be too stereotypical, but it's just, it attracts a different kind of vibe of people. And because it's more becoming more popular, there are more people getting into it, you still haven't seen that cross flux yet, that cross connection of like bros flooding it just because it's popular. We haven't had that yet. So I mean, that's probably the coolest thing about it is it's becoming more accessible, but it's not becoming accessible in the wrong way.
I agree. If you had to pick one vocalist to work with, who would you who would you want to would you want it to be and why?
Oh man, I'm gonna feel like I met this guy named Thief from Australia. I played a show with him a couple weeks ago, and I thought this guy is awesome. Like, go check it out. It's on SoundCloud. He's like a smaller guy like me, you know. He's got a really, really cool voice. I hit his manager up. We got along great. I foresee possibly working with him in the future because he's awesome. If I could choose any vocalist, there's no doubt in my mind it'd be Cello right now. I absolutely have the biggest crush in the world on, and I made myself look like an idiot when I met her a week back or something. You know, she's got a really cool style.
Was she who you guys played basketball at the WMC? No. Because I saw a picture, and all you guys had these smiles on your face. Like you couldn't wipe them off.
That's Annabelle England. You gotta tweet her. She's dope. And she's an awesome vocalist too. Really, really cool vocalist. She does a lot of stuff. But I mean, I think for my style of music, I would go definitely with more. I would work with Cello if I could, just because I really like her style. I like her vocal, and she's done stuff with Gold Room. Like, she's awesome. Like watching her perform is kind of what made me like fall in love with her sound. Like, when I heard her on a record, it was all well and good, but when I saw her play, I was like, man, that chick is the truth. She's rad.
Well, this one's for Pickles, and it's for all of you. They want to know what you guys think about the move of Snowball to Denver. As you know, it's been in Vail and Winter Park the last 3 years, and there was a lot of people that were kind of upset about it moving. And honestly, like, I was a little angry at first, but it's in a better place for all of us, more able, and it's the city needs something like this. So I guess we just want to know what you guys think of the move.
I've been going. I actually went the first year. It was up in Vail. I was up there. It was great. And then I've been every year, honestly. And you think the aspect of having a festival in the mountains, you know, with that drop is, it's like kind of, I don't know, it's just cool. It's really cool. It's kind of, and it kind of provides like a vacation side of it. It's just down here, like, you go up to and you get a hotel and you party with all your friends in the mountains for a weekend and listen to really great music. But at the same time, there's a lot of hurdles that are involved with that, I think. And bringing it back here to Denver, you get to avoid a lot of those. First of all, I'm guessing getting all the artists up there and putting them up in hotels and lodging buddies. So it really makes it hard for a lot of people that really want to go because they can't, first of all, afford to stay up there. Second of all, they get a hotel. Or they have to stay like miles outside of town. So I think bringing it down here just makes it a little bit more accessible. It makes it a little bit more streamlined. I mean, I think those first few years were fun. It's also going to be not quite as cold. Like, I honestly froze my balls off last year, for sure. So, like, I almost froze. So yeah, you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, same stuff. I've also been up there the past 2 years, and you know, it is great, you know, getting a cabin with your friends. I think that's a really cool part of it. But honestly, I think it's really great that it's coming down to the city. It'll definitely be a lot more accessible. I think it'll bring a lot more people out. So really looking forward to it.
I think you kind of hit
They are the next like breakthrough indie dance band, so they'd be number one. Obviously, the rest are all. Maxi Sound System played the best set of last year. I loved his set. And him, they look like they're really fun to party with. That's just gonna be a blast. So obviously J Flip is a gangster. I'm looking forward to Wave Racer. Wave Racer's dope. Trippy Turtle is dope. I saw What So Not like 17 times in the past like week and a half, but I'll still see him again because he's rad. Yeah, between South by and WMC, I've seen all these boys play a bunch, and one that I'm probably most excited for is definitely Rufus.
This one comes from Andy Immerman. He wants to know, for all of you guys, if you were stuck on a desert island, what 3 albums would you bring with you?
Man, for me, it'd be Sugar Ray's Greatest Hits for one, and I'm not playing about that. I don't care what anybody judge me if you will. Great, no, it's a red CD. It has Columbia on it. It's I know what record it is. It's that one. I would definitely do that one. Man, and then the other two, I loved Beats by Tribe Called Quest. That'll probably always be in my top like favorite albums ever, forever. Then man, what would my next one be? Next one is gonna be just haven't written it yet.
Whoop whoop. Whoa, that was profound. Mine would be probably digitalism, idealism. Probably one of my all-time. So digitalism, idealism, Aesop Rock, Labor Days, and finally JD2 Dead Ringer, because a lot of probably. So good run with those.
I'm just gonna do albums. Probably say Dr. Dre, Chronic, the Chronic. Jodeci, Jodeci, Freaking You with the MK dub on there. And God, maybe like Al Green Greatest Hits.
I'm gonna go with Prius, Ready to Die, as my hip hop.
Musician. Might have to straight. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with Elliott Smith on that one.
Yeah, Who's that?
Well, I was a drummer, so I always thought that that Bonham from Upland was I would say he probably, because he really influenced me a lot. I used to listen to a lot of their tracks, and he really influenced me a lot. So I'd probably say, even though he's passed away, God rest his soul, probably Bonham.
Nora Jones.
I like that.
All right. Well, this question comes from Souls in Action. Time do you spend playing Clash of Clans versus producing?
Man. Well, that's a tough question. That's a tough question because, I'm always in the studio lately. I've been gone on the road a lot. So I would say the past 2 weeks, a lot more clans than than producing. But that's going to change a lot here in the next, when I get back next week. It's going to change a lot. I'll be a lot more in the studio. I need a lot of records to get finished or anything. So hopefully I won't be playing too much Clash.
Your sound is different than what most music fans in Denver are used to. How did you, what influenced you to produce deep house, tech house, your sound?
Man, I'm having a really hard question to answer myself. I was in, that's really hard to answer right now because I'm going through kind of like not really an identity crisis by any means, but like, I was at conference last week, and I was playing all these shows, and I'm at all these shows. So if I wasn't playing at a show, and I'm at my friends' shows, and I'm seeing all these people, all these big names, these people I look up to, they're all playing, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, man, all the records I'm making now, I don't think any of them would play. Like, it's not their sound. And so I'm not exactly sure what's influencing me right now, but I do believe right now I'm kind of like pushing my own sound. I don't think anybody's, there's some tracks out there that are getting a lot of support and have for the past whatever. The Nervous Release gets played out a bunch, which is awesome. And a couple of the singles that I put out have been getting support by DJs, but all the stuff that I'm excited about, all the stuff that I'm writing right now it's more like emotive, deep jacking stuff, and not a lot of DJs are with that sound. They want more of like the basic, here's your minute and a half intro, your minute and a half show, very, very small breaks, kind of whatever. And the stuff I'm making right now and the stuff I'm pushing right now, in fact, a lot of us are, I think, is much more pulsing, rhythm related, much more, maybe more UK influence than what a lot of the people are playing out right now. It seems techno is taking over the world. At least it did at conference. Like every single house DJ out there that was like banging out like a hot club and everything's packed or whatever. It was a lot more techno oriented, which is cool. So maybe I'm just either ahead of the curve or behind the curve. But everything that I'm making right now seems like it's much more UK oriented, but it's not like pop music or UK pop that it is over there, because it's still our sound because we're here in America, in Denver specifically. So I would say that, you know, I don't do a lot of G house, I don't do a lot of techno, I don't do a lot of classic house. I'm somewhere in the middle of all of that. It's kind of the sound that I've been pushing and making. So I don't really know what my influences are anymore. Just know that when I'm sitting down to write a record, I want a certain emotion to come out, and I want it to make it attachable to people. I want people to be able to relate themselves to the song. And as long as that happens, I don't really care what it sounds like or what genre gets put in or what happens. As long as the end result is somebody that listened to that was able to connect with the song and, in a way, connect with me, that's all that matters.
I actually had this question too. I'm glad somebody asked it. Terribly American wants to know what the chance of Frankie Knuckles tribute is in any way, and how you would do it tastefully. He was such a huge man in the scene, and it would be cool to see guys honor him in some sort of way. And if anybody were to do it in Denver, it'd be this. So if you were to do that, how would you go about it?
Man, that's a really daunting question, especially because of the time. To be perfectly honest, I don't feel comfortable trying to do it. I wouldn't personally do it. It is absolutely a legend, and like, I just know so many close friends of mine, or real life close friends of his, that if I were to try and do something like, these guys might be able to do a better job than I would, but I don't think personally I would ever do it. I might play the whistle song at Snowball this weekend for kicks, you know, and give some love that way. Or as like a tribute set, or, you know, it's funny. It seems like second that happened, half my Twitter feed, DJs, you know, that didn't know him, or DJs that weren't connected with him at all, everybody was like, you know, rest in peace, and here's my tribute mix, and here's my, you know, this. And that's cool to see an artist still that influential, you know, even after he passes, still that influential to a lot of people, because he did touch a lot of people's lives. But in my capacity, you know, I don't think I would try to do like a tribute show or a tribute set by any means. I wouldn't feel appropriate doing it. I just think that it was just on a completely different level, and I don't feel adequate. I feel like if I did it with my sound, which is not like that sound at all, it came from that sound, but it's not that sound, that would, you know, I mean, not as far off or as much of a stretch as like Borgor doing a tribute set to Frankie Knuckles, you know, because I'm not that far off. But you know what I'm saying? Like, far off genre wise, I'm not that far off. It's just like in the same. That's how I feel about a legend like that. I do feel like I'm that far off. So for me personally, I would never try to do a tribute show or a tribute set, just because I'd give him all the respect I can. I still play. Love the dude. Love what he's done for this music, and, you know, he's the reason we have jobs, right? You know. There's no doubt about it. So, I mean, all the respect in the world for him. But I just, because of that, I don't think I would try to do something like that. Yeah, for me personally, I wouldn't.
Well, completely understandable. This question comes from Anna, and she wants to, is your spirit animal a sloth?
Oh, that's a done deal. I think that goes without saying. I mean, I hope it doesn't reflect my work ethic too much, but absolutely, sloths are my favorite animal. I love them right now. It doesn't ever change. They're my favorite.
This question comes from Nichols. They want to know how your set on Snowball is going to differ from your sets that you play at Vinyl, that you play at NORAD, that you're going to be having coming up for our re-up on Wednesdays. You never really sound the same as this, but what are you going to do different for Snowball?
Man, I'm not going to do anything different at all. Like, I'm not, you know, I still am terrible at preparing. I never know what I'm going to play when I get up there. I have no clue. I think that's part of the reason they always are different, is there's some tunes that I definitely support out because I love them so much, and until either they release or till people start playing them, then I'm you know. But basically, I approach every single show the same way, where I just, whatever the hottest tracks are that week, whatever I think is appropriate or whatever I want to share with people is what I'll play. There won't be, you know, I hope I mean, to be honest, that's where I'm like, man, I killed it on that one, and then there's sets that I play and I get off the stage and I'm like, I could have done there, you know. But I'm kind of like, I don't analyze any tracks. I don't use records. I don't use anything. I literally just play the song and beat match it like it's an actual record. And some of the records I've heard a couple of times, but I've listened to them and I go, man, you know what? That would be dope to drop. I haven't heard that one. Or, hey, let's do this, this, and this. But as far as like any planning anything special or doing anything of the sort, I play every set the same way, where I just go into it thinking I've never played for any of these people before in my life. I'm going to play the best hour and a half for the set is that I possibly can right now, and it's going to be different every time because I never know what I'm going to play. I don't think.
The label you run, Night Supply, operates a little different than most. You give out most of your tracks for free. What do you look for when what do you look for in a song when you're gonna make it full? And have you decided what made you decide to go free route of releasing songs for free?
I think more than anything is the whole culture of Night Supply, just in general, is just to put out tracks that we believe in. And the reason I created the label that we all did, we all started, was because we didn't want to create a label that was on anybody else, or, release music that was on its terms. We don't want any, oh man, that doesn't come out until May 13th and you're sitting on the shelf for 2 months. And then by then you might not feel like it's as appropriate or as timely or as hot or not. The reason we did the thing for free is because it's great blog exposure. Blogs get behind stuff when it is product because you don't feel like you're selling anybody. We never wanted to feel like we were selling anybody. We wanted to just put out records and sign records that we thought were appropriate and relevant, and then give them away to people so that they, experience new music all the time. So we got one coming out next week. Little kid, he's 8. Yeah, dude, he's a gangster. This song is so good. I played it in Miami at the Sweat It Out party last week, and it was just it went. And so it was really cool to see like this little kid who's kind of take a wing a little bit, and he makes these really dope records and kind of push him and kind of like youth a little bit, because kid is awesome and he's making some really cool stuff, and I'm excited to release the record because I played it out on a completely packed dance floor and watched that thing just explode, So we got another one which will be cool. We'll give away on Tuesday. But just the general, I'm right on that. It seems like general consensus is just to be able to release on our terms.
Yeah, and when releasing it, you can really just saturate the market with it. It's available, and it's a proven way of getting your name out there, getting our Night Supply name out there. And then I'm sure Maddie has at least one or two things to say.
Hey guys. No, I think the free culture is, especially for now, it's, first of all, who knows where our songs are getting. We get surprised with every single release with how many plays we do, whether it's a new artist or it's someone super established. Like we just did a Walker and Royce record, actually. And I think we're just going to keep it free for right now, and it's been going well, and we don't really have the solid business blueprint. We're all just a bunch of good friends who all really believe in each other and are just trying to push it, and that's kind of how it's been, I guess, so far.
Anything to say, Rob?
Cheers to that.
Well, I know the free culture works because we've seen all what Pretty Lights has done, who's headlining this music festival, and he started his own label, put everything out for free, and now he's headlining every music festival in the country. And so it's a proven thing that it works. And artists necessarily don't make their money off of their albums anyway, making it off of the touring and going and playing 200, 300 shows a year. So yeah. That's all the questions we have for today. Do you guys have anything else you guys put out there?
I'm sorry for being late.
Yeah, just keep your eye on us, and especially the Night Supply, our collective, and the imprint. Got a lot of big things in store coming up in the summer, and then just keep your eye on all the parties we're going to throw this summer, because we're going to just off Denver. I think you can vouch for that, right, Brennan?
We got some real big shows coming up. Real big. So just come dance with us, I guess, when you're not dancing with Snowball.
You heard it from the Need and Necessities, the Key and Option4, Night Supply. See him this weekend at Snowball. It's a hell of a weekend.